Welcome back, guys. It's Josh Neal here with another DraftKings fantasy and gambling video. This time it is on NASCAR. NASCAR returns finally after a 2-month hiatus. They return to Darlington. Darlington, one of the toughest tracks on the circuit. There's no doubt about it. These guys will not have any practice, no qualifying, no seat time. The first time they will be in their cars, they will go green, lap one. That'll be the first seat time they've had in nearly 2 months. It's going to be wild. It's going to be anxious for me. But we have a great situation setting up for us. DraftKings, FanDuel, both having huge contests. I'll have plenty of contests in the $10. Hopefully they can keep this up for next Wednesday. I'll try to have another video out Wednesday similar to this, but let's dive right into it. So the starting lineup was Drew last night on FS1. Brad Keselowski got the pole. Josh Bilicki returning in the Tommy Baldwin Racing. Number 7, he got 40th. So this lineup has plenty of value plays. I've sort of highlighted my favorite value plays in green there. You guys can look at that yourself. But what I've done here on this chart, and this will kind of be my format for most charts. I'm thinking about adding results in the history, but right now you have sort of a formula that does that for me. And I got most of this from driveraverages.com, a very, very important tool for DFS NASCAR players. Very important. And right here, average DFS points for the season. This is on DraftKings. I don't really play FanDuel, so take that for what it's worth. But let's get right into it. So Brad Keselowski on the pole. Brad Keselowski's not been as impressive this year, although if you look here on current form, he rates 5th here. But the thing with Brad Keselowski is they've not been as strong heading into the race, but as the race goes on, they seem to find something. His new crew chief this year, Jeremy Bolins, comes over from the 12 team of Ryan Blaney. Todd Gordon actually replaces Bolins there. He was Logano's crew chief. Logano's crew chief is Todd Gordon. He went to Blaney's crew. And Paul Wolfe, Keselowski's crew chief, went to Joey Logano. So, that was a nutshell. But as you can see here, Logano, Keselowski, Blaney, all solid this year. Blaney, he arguably could have won the Daytona 500 Auto Club. He could have won at least like 2 races this year. Alex Bowman's been really strong too. So a lot of these guys have flexed their muscle. Logano being the one that can close here. But as you can see on current form right now, so they've only had 4 races. But Chase Elliott at the top of the current form, he has been really solid. Kind of like Blaney. He's had some problems closing. But this current form doesn't necessarily take into account, the finishing position and all that. It's more about where they've been running without incident and all that. So current form Chase Elliott's team looking stout, you could say. But back to Brad Keselowski sitting here, his Darlington rating, this Darlington driver rating here, it takes into account all time. And the 2 that I've adjusted here for all time is Matt DiBenedetto and where's he at? Alex Bowman. These 2 have started with weaker teams, and then they've evolved into higher up rides. So I've adjusted those guys from when they've took higher class rides. That's what you'll see there in the Darlington driver rating. But back to Keselowski. Very good driver at Darlington. If you sort this here, he's once again 5th. He's 5th in form and 5th in Darlington drive rating. He's on the pole. And to me, so they're going to have a competition caution at lap 30. I believe that is what it is. And after that, you get out of the pit, you have to maintain your position. So if Brad Keselowski, for instance, can lead all 30 laps, he's going to get the lead again out of the pits. He's going to lead all those laps. And depending on adjustments by Jeremy Bolins, Brad Keselowski could easily top. He could easily have the most laps led in this race, depending on how how good they are setting up. If their car is not as good set up as what I think it will be, then Alex Bowman starting second. We've seen Alex Bowman this year flex his muscle, as you will see here in his current form. He is third. He won Auto Club, which is another high tire wear track. Watch out for Alex Bowman, because if Keselowski struggles there in the opening laps, I don't think Alex Bowman's going to unload slow. They've unloaded pretty fast this year, and Alex Bowman sitting there in second at 9,000 could be a steal. I'm going to have some in GPP. I probably won't have him in cash. I think if you're playing cash games, double ups, Keselowski's a smarter, more safe pick. But don't be shocked here if Alex Bowman comes out there and takes over the lead within 10 laps. Third down the list is Matt DiBenedetto. Okay, so the problem here is he is pretty good if you look at current form. Matt DiBenedetto, solid in the top 10 here, but we want Matt DiBenedetto. And the problem here with the draw is they broke him up into 12. He so happened to fall in the top 12. I feel like this is average weekend. He would qualify somewhere 16th, and he would battle for like a 7th, 8th place finish. I would probably gobble him up, to be honest, at 7,500. He starts third. I'm probably going to fade Matt DiBenedetto this weekend just because of that reason. Let's see here. I'm just going to go over the top 12, and then I'll point out some value plays. Let's see. Kyle Busch, the most expensive driver, starting fourth. So here's the thing with him. If you look at Darlington driver rating, should be third or second, one of the two. Yeah, third. Starting fourth. Joe Gibbs, the last couple of years, has dominated this track. You look here, and Kyle Busch, he did fairly well at Auto Club too. Like I said, higher tire wear track. We really don't have much to go off of other than current form. And obviously, another thing with Kyle Busch is he's had the same crew chief, Adam Stevens, forever now, it seems like. They have a huge notebook. And I feel like they're one of the ones that can take what they had last year, along with his JGR teammates like Denny Hamlin, Truex, and Jones. Jones won this race. We'll get to him later. But I feel like Kyle Busch is a very sneaky GPP play. I feel like a lot of people will not take him at this price. I feel like with Kurt Busch, Jones, all them guys that you need value plays from, I feel like Kyle Busch might just get shoved out of lineups. You might want to be shoving him into lineups in this case because Kyle Busch, with all this uncertainty, it just seems like a Kyle Busch kind of race. So you look at that current form driver rating, starting fourth, be on the lookout. Kyle Busch, in terms of average DFS points, has disappointed, but at some point, it's going to start, advancing to the median. And right now, it's under the median, if you ask me. So yeah, there's that. Fifth, Eric Almirola. Not going to spend much time on him. He's kind of a situation with DiBenedetto. He's not the best driver at Darlington anyway. Current form, yeah, DiBenedetto and Eric Almirola, same boat, just starting too high. Kevin Harvick, second highest price driver. He was first in owner points. There was a time this week where I thought he might get the pole. But if you look at driver rating at Darlington, he comes in fourth. Current form, he comes in fourth. I liked Kevin Harvick starting on the pole. I don't like him as much in sixth, but then again, it goes with the same argument with Kyle Busch. Him and Rodney Childers, his crew chief, have a huge notebook. They could easily come up here with a better initial setup, and they could fly to the top, depending on how good Keselowski, his new crew chief, Alex Bowman, he's had Greg Ives for 2-3 years. So, like I said, I would not be shocked if Kyle Busch or Kevin Harvick took the lead and dominated. Just the way that they are good. at Darlington, and their current form is pretty decent. Ryan Blaney, starting 7th, 9,500. He's a little overpriced for me. I'm a Ryan Blaney fan, first and foremost, but in terms of DFS, he's let me down this year. And he is not that great at Darlington, as you can see, 68.6. His current form, though, is something. Todd Gordon has helped him tremendously. I can't understate this enough. At Team Penske, you have Paul Wolfe, Todd Gordon, and then it drops to Jeremy Bolins. Jeremy Bolins is not a good crew chief. That's why I just don't know what to do with Keselowski. Keselowski is a safer cash option than GPP. But Todd Gordon coming over to this 12 team has just lit a spark under Ryan Blaney. Ryan Blaney looks like a totally different driver. If you're not familiar with NASCAR, just pay attention to these numbers, but just know that Ryan Blaney has had a chance to win 2 to 3 races this year. So starting 7th, I wouldn't be shocked to see Ryan Blaney up there in top 4, but at this price, you want him to lead. I'm fairly confident saying Ryan Blaney struggles at Darlington. I think that those struggles will continue, but I expect him to have a fast car. I don't expect him to contend for the win. Jimmy Johnson, starting 8th, 8,300. I was not expecting to see this current form in Darlington driver rating equal out here, starting 8th at 8,300, but I'd much prefer him 13th or 14th. I think 8th is just way too high for me. I probably will fade him in this scenario, even though Hendrick and Chevrolet have been so much faster than they were last year. I just think he's way too high, and I probably will not have any of him this week. Joey Logano, starting 9th here, and this is one of my plays that I kind of really am falling in love with. There's no reason Keselowski should be more expensive than Logano. Logano has probably been the best overall driver this year in terms of getting it done. He starts 9th, decent at Darlington, not as good as Keselowski, but you got to understand Paul Wolfe contributed a lot to that number right there, 99.5. So bump Logano up 10 points here. He's gotten better over the last couple years at Darlington. He's got to be one of the ones. They've been on fire with the setups. They continue to get faster as the week goes on. Paul Wolfe, one of the best in the business in being different. So if this is a funky race, like I think most of us are expecting, Paul Wolfe jumps to the very top in being able to adjust to those circumstances. I really like Logano this week. I could see him definitely leading laps. So just have a piece of him in GPPs. We got Denny Hamlin, Elliott, and Kansas left. Denny Hamlin. So look here, I'm just going to do this for your all's benefit. I'm gonna go to this once again. Feel free to take screenshots of this. Also, follow me on Twitter at StiflerBets. Follow me on Twitter, StiflerBets. If you want this, chart access to it, I'll feel free to share it with you. Talk about plays with you. Just feel free to DM me, follow me on Twitter, and like I said, subscribe and thumbs up to the video. But back anyway to chase Denny Hamlin. Denny Hamlin, Eric Jones does not have a lot of starts here, but he is really good here. From the guys that have had a lot of starts here, Denny Hamlin is really good here. That cannot be stated. And I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, there was an article, or it was him talking about he has his own line here that nobody else seems to be able to figure out at Darlington. And Darlington's such a tough track. I can't state that enough. Most of these drivers are going to scrape their right side. It is worrisome. This is probably the toughest track in NASCAR, and you don't have any practice or anything this week, so it's going to be interesting. But then again, Denny Hamlin, it kind of benefits Denny Hamlin because he can just latch in there and go. It's going to be the muscle memory will come into play here. Denny Hamlin, again, you will want, it's like Logano. You will want a solid piece of him. But I trust Denny Hamlin more than I do Kyle Busch. Some of them guys, he starts 10th. He can gain like 7 spots if he finishes top 3, which I expect he will. I think he has fast lap potential, which you want DraftKings. I think he has lead lap potential. He has everything you're looking for. Starting 10th, and the history is there. Current form, yeah, I don't know. I don't understand what it was getting at with him, but you know, when Denny Hamlin has a very good car, he generally leads laps. When he doesn't have a good car, you kind of see around 8th to 10th. I think it's interesting. I think they have a good enough notebook with Gabe Hart there. I have a strong inkling that Denny Hamlin will be a factor with all these circumstances coming into play, that he will be a contender up there. Have a good piece of Denny Hamlin. Starting 11th here, let's see, get this back. Starting 11th, Chase Elliott. The current form, he tops the chart. You've seen this many times throughout this video. He's 9,800, and he's the top driver in current form. You'd be stupid not to have a piece of him. He starts 11th. He presents a top 5 finishing position upside. He presents a chance at winning the race. Decent again at Darlington. But you got to understand, Chevrolet, Hendrick Motorsports have been down the past 2 years, and that team were still contending for wins. Now that Chevy has caught up, Hendrick Motorsports has caught up with Toyota and Ford, Chase Elliott is starting to shine. And the Darlington driver rating, throw that out the window. Look more at this current form number, and you got great savings at 9,800. So it's like Logano, honestly. These two might be my top upper tier plays in terms of salary. In terms of winning the race, Denny Hamlin's probably going to be my favorite to win it. But yeah, that's about all I can say. Just follow this number right here. Have a good piece of Chase Elliott starting 11th. I think he finishes top 5. If not, he comes close to it. Matt Kenseth, 7,900. Seen a lot of people talk him up this week. I want to keep it simple for you guys. He's been good here, but the guy's been out of NASCAR for 2 years now, a year and a half at least. Don't play him. It's just that simple. He starts 12th. If he was starting 29th, okay. He starts 12th, 7,900. That car has been overperforming because of Kyle Larson talent. Matt Kenseth's old. I think he's 46. And he's in decline. That team's probably going to shoot for a top 15 finish. So yeah, there's just not much upside. 12th spot is about as high as I think he can finish. I see him finishing around 19th, 20th, if not 24th, 22nd, somewhere in there. Just don't play him. Let other people play him. Take advantage. So that does with the top 12. I'm going to finish this off here. Like I said, you got the green plays. William Byron, it goes back to my Hendrick and Chevrolet comment. William Byron's been dominating iRacing if you've been keeping up with it. These are actual cars. I think it's going to be a little bit different this week. But his current form's solid. If you sort this again as I keep doing. Yeah, he comes in at 12th. So, top 12 current form. He starts 18th with a chance with Chad Knaus, who's been Jimmy Johnson's longtime crew chief. Also, William Byron won the pole here last year. And he was top 10. I think he finished 8th in Stage 2. He got into a wreck, an incident, and it took him out. But he was running top 10 here last year. And once again, I'll say it again, Chevrolet was not as strong as they are this year. William Byron might slide under the radar because of Kurt Busch and Eric Jones. So, William Byron is my sneaky play. If he's sneaky, if he's sneaky in that sense. I think he will go overlooked. I think he will be seen, but I don't think people will click on him as much. I'd expect 25% ownership when maybe I'd expect 25% ownership. I'll probably have 35% just to get overweight on the field because I believe in William Byron this week. Eric Jones, like I said, speaks for itself. Darlington driver rating. Go watch last year's race if you want to know more about Eric Jones. Kurt Busch, Darlington, good rating at Darlington. Good current form, 22nd, 8,500. Do I need to say anything else? Chris Buescher, 7,000. Chris Buescher, another one of my favorite drivers. He gets so much more out of the car than what it's worth. 24th. Look, I think I would predict around a 15th place finish for Chris Buescher, starting 24th. Solid value play. And he's too cheap. He should be more like 7,400. Austin Dillon at 7,400. There's no sense in it. When you can have Chris Buescher, the better driver, better talent, might be in a better car. That's to be seen. But he gets more out of the car normally than what it has in it. Starting 24th. One of my favorite plays. And then Christopher Bell, Tyler Reddick. If you don't know these guys, you need to Google search them. What they've been doing the last year and a half in NASCAR speaks for itself. They're rookies in the Cup Series. Christopher Bell, 6,600. He's just had terrible luck this year. They're in all sorts of trouble. Every time you look up at Levine Family Racing, that was the 95, which DiBenedetto raced in last year. And DiBenedetto, looking at it now, has outperformed Christopher Bell through 4 races. But he's had some bad luck too. So with the team here, JGR and this LFR, Levine Family Racing, they get a lot of their parts from JGR. It's an alliance. They're not as strong as JGR, but they give a lot of hand-me-down parts to this team, and you'd expect them to run as good. My theory on this is Toyota, not as strong this year. Everybody else caught up, so might have been a year too late. I'm trying to see what he had. Tyler Reddick, he's a wall rider. If you're familiar with Darlington, you're going to be wall riding. Starting 29th, probably my favorite place differential play. Great current form. Just a talented driver. I'll have plenty of Tyler Reddick. And then you go down here to the 56, the 5,000 range. I'm interested in Michael McDowell to a certain extent. I don't love him. He's just not been the same driver this year. I'm not sure what's going on there. They must be They must be putting their focus on John Hunter Nemechek, his teammate, who starts 34th. I much prefer him to Michael McDowell. I much prefer Ty Dillon probably over both of them. It pains me to say because Ty Dillon I do not think is a talented race car driver at all. But Ty Dillon gets the job done. He'll probably finish top 20. He'll probably finish around 22nd, 23rd, if not 19th. I mean, his ceiling's probably 17th. If he does finish 17th, that's almost double where he started. So it'll be hard not to have a lot of Ty Dillon. I think he has a higher ceiling, definitely, than John Hunter, and he's $300 cheaper. Brennan Poole, I really don't see the need for him because Ty Dillon is mispriced. Ty Dillon should probably be around 6,000. Brennan Poole, 5,500. He just doesn't have he doesn't have the car Ty Dillon does. So I could see him squeezing it in like 2 super cheap punt play lineups, but that'd be it. Then you got Daniel Suarez. He's a little overpriced for me, but starting 37th, he should squeak out like a top 25 finish, top 22 finish. Their ceiling's probably 22nd, I'd say, so that's where I am with them. And then Timmy Hill, it came out earlier this week, I think on Reddit, that car had got a little bit more help from their sponsors. And at 5,200, starting 38th, you could probably see a 32nd place finish from him. But then again, if you can just get rid of the $400, if you can clear up $400 and go to Ty Dillon, you got to. You really just got to at that point. Michael McDowell is probably a safer play too than Timmy Hill, but Timmy Hill here, let's see who he's going to pass. Timmy Hill's probably going to pass Joey Gase. Timmy Hill's probably going to pass J.J. Yaley. Timmy Hill's probably going to pass Quinn Hoof and Garrett Smithley. And then you got to think Timmy Hill's probably going to pass two to four guys it's going to crash and wreck. So right there, I think I named like 8 or 9 spots. Timmy Hill's finishing 29th. I mean, that's pretty good value for a 5,200 play. And then, these guys right here, McLeod, not a fan. And Balicki, Tommy Baldwin Racing returning. They've been out of sport for a while in the 7 car. I don't know what to make with them. You can maybe venture down there. He starts dead last. If they're just out there to ride around and then park it when they get to like 34th or 33rd, he's worth a look. But those are hit or miss guys. You got the safer plays in green, and yeah, that pretty much does it. If you guys got any questions, like I said, follow me on Twitter at StiflerBets. Please subscribe and thumbs up this video. Trying to get more traffic to the channel so I can keep doing these videos. It helps me out a lot. Helps out the algorithm on YouTube if you'll thumbs up it. I think that's about it. So if you guys got any questions, like I said, hit me up. Till next time, hope you guys crush it on Sunday.